I ain't gonna swing on no gallows.
Well, you can always be shot on the way to your trial. While trying to escape, of course.
The movie begins with a man named Matthew Quigley packing his rifle and bullets and other equipment, planning to travel on boat for 3 months to the western edge of Australia. As it appears, he is going to interview for the job of a marksman. At the port, he confronts a man who is rebuking an old lady for going slow. Irritated, he shuts him up using a unique trick.
Old people should go last, or get the hell out of the way.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Quigley. We seem to be holding that man up.
Post that, he sees a few men misbehaving with a helpless woman and promptly steps in to defend her. They tell him that they are taking the woman with them for their amusement and assume that he is an ordinary man, but soon face the consequences of their actions. He swiftly takes down all of them, impressing the woman who introduces herself as Crazy Cora. Much to his surprise, she calls him Roy, but he promptly corrects her. Coincidentally, the men were apparently sent by Quigley's employer, Elliot Marston. Quigley and Crazy Cora travel with the men to Marston Station, which is a 2-day ride. After a while, the group is stopped by Major Ashley Pitt, who is in command of the British forces in the region. He and his men are looking for 2 deserters. The group denies any knowledge of such men, and Major Pitt takes his sweet time mocking Quigley, but soon regrets it.
In our experience, Americans are uncouth misfits who've been run out of their own barbaric country.
Major, we already run the misfits out of our country. We sent them back to England.
That night, the group takes rest in a clearing at the roadside, and Cora tries to get close to him. Quigley is annoyed by her calling him Roy and gets tired of correcting her. Out of the blue, she tries making love to him, but he shrugs her off. Next morning, the journey continues and the group finally reaches Marston Station. There, Quigley meets with Marston, who turns out to have advertised for a job opening. Out of all the men who had applied for the job, only Quigley was selected for the interview.
21 men answered my advertisement from all over the world. Canada, India, England. They just wrote letters. But you had a way with words.
Marston hands him 50 gold coins just for appearing at the station. To test his abilities, Marston asks more about his aim and his rifle. Quigley proudly showcases his rifle, which turns out to be a Sharps rifle with a 34-inch long barrel. It has a double-set trigger and a vernier sight marked up to 1,200 yards.
It's marked up to 1,200 yards. This one shoots a mite further.
Willing to test his aim, he sends one of his men to set the target. Quigley surprises Marston when he sets the target so far that it would be nearly impossible to hit for any ordinary man. But to everyone's amazement, he hits the bullseye and everyone is left speechless. Marston hires him on the spot and invites him for dinner. But just then, his men catch 2 deserters. In a display of brutality, he orders for them to be cut loose and then shoots them without remorse. That night, the rest of the men are jealous of Quigley, as although they have been working for Marston for years, Quigley is the one eating dinner with their boss on his first day of work. Back inside, Marston expresses his fascination for the Americans. He tells Quigley that he is fond of American quick-draw shooters and considers himself to be quite good at it.
God created all men, they say. Sam Colt made them equal, more or less.
You see, that's what I like about you Americans. You people of action, not words.
But things take a dark turn when he speaks about the Australian Aboriginals and expresses his disgust for them. We see that he has an Aboriginal servant and treats him like an animal. He says that his parents were killed by a group of Aboriginals, and as the British Empire allows British settlers to deal with them as they please, he has his own way of taking revenge on them.
Her Majesty's government allows the local settlers to deal with the matter their own way. It's official policy. It's called pacification by force.
He adds that although illiterate, the Aboriginals have surprisingly learned to stay out of normal rifle range, and hence he hired Quigley to clean them up. Quigley, who shares a completely different view of the Aboriginals, deals with Marston in his own way.
What the hell? Now stay right where you are.
No man knocks me out of my own house.
When Marston gets thrown out the second time, he orders them to attack. They are too afraid to enter the house, as Quigley is seen ready with his rifle, and hence surround the house and wait for him to drop his guard. But out of the blue, he gets attacked by the servant. They take turns beating the helpless man, and when Cora tries to defend him, she too faces harsh treatment.
Eating real fancy, eh?
Marston orders them to drop the duo in the middle of the desert without food or water to ensure that the desert kills them slowly and painfully. Quigley and Cora are soon dropped as ordered, but he offers to give up his gold coins in return for some water while secretly taking out a knife. One of the men turns out to be too greedy and tries to steal the gold coins, but pays for it with his life.
I can have the gold anyway.
That's what I thought you'd say.
The other one tries to run away, but now, Quigley has a rifle in his hand. He takes a long-distance shot and hits the bullseye. He then unties Cora, but the duo are forced to walk, as the carriage had been carried away by the horses. They walk under the scorching sun for an entire day and night, but the next day, they run out of strength. Cora collapses, exhausted, and for a moment Quigley considers leaving her alone, but eventually decides against it. He carries her till night, but then he too collapses in the desert. Next morning, a group of Aboriginals find them lying on the desert, and seeing their dire situation, take them to their hideout. Meanwhile, Major Ashley Pitt is seen arriving at Marston's station, as he had found 2 dead men in the desert and believes that Marston may be able to shed some light on the incident. Marston soon recognizes them as the men who left to drop Cora and Quigley, and his expression changes. Back at their cave, the Aboriginals feed them water and perform healing rituals. Soon, the duo regain their senses and are surprised to find themselves lying near a group of Aboriginals. They kindly offer the duo some food, but as the camera zooms in, we see a few insects crawling on the plate. With a lot of hesitation, they swallow the bugs, and the indigenous people are happy to see that they are adapting to their ways. They teach Quigley how to search and extract water from the desert, and in return, he teaches them how to throw a rope.
Just roll your wrist so you gotta keep that loop open. See that? See how that loop stays open? And you look at what you're throwing at, swing the rope and throw right at it.
Cora also bonds with the Aboriginal females and gives one of them a necklace. At night, inside the cave, Cora opens up to him. She reveals the cause of her visiting Australia. As it appears, she was alone with her newborn in her home, while her husband was out hunting. But out of the blue, a group of Comanche had infiltrated their home. She hid herself and her newborn inside the root cellar while the Comanche were searching their house. One of them approached their cellar and the baby started crying. Scared of being found, she covered his mouth and after some time realized that the Comanche were just drunk and had no ill intentions.
At sundown, Roy came home, but I was still afraid to come out of the cellar. I was afraid of what he'd do when he saw I smothered our son.
Her husband kept silent and had put her in a ship to Australia and never turned back to look at her. This comes as a shock to Quigley, and he understands what made her lose her mind. Next morning, they wake up only to find that the Aboriginals had left early, but soon find out why. Marston's men ambush them and start killing them one by one. The Aboriginals retaliate, and Quigley joins the battle. He takes down a few men, forcing the last remaining man to retreat. He returns to Marston and delivers the news. He is furious that Quigley is spoiling his plans of getting rid of the Aboriginals and sends more men to achieve his goal. Cora is heartbroken that the woman to whom she had given the necklace has been killed. Quigley has no words to comfort her, and the two resume their journey. That night, while taking rest, they come close to each other, but she again calls him Roy. This upsets him, and the mood is spoiled.
Let's drag up some wood for a real cabin. 'Cause Roy's side walls
Matthew.
Next day, they continue their journey and soon come across more of Marston's men. This time, they are pushing the poor Aboriginals down a cliff. Seeing this, Quigley springs to action. Using his impeccable aim, he takes down all of the men. He approaches one of the goons who is about to die. His back is broken and every moment of life is now causing him excruciating pain. Quigley hands him a pistol to end his own life, and in return the man tells him the location of a town nearby.
You got one shot left in that shooter. Make the most of it.
Cora searches among the dead bodies, and surprisingly finds a baby who survived. She adopts him, and Quigley takes them away from the place. They take shelter inside a cave, and the duo realize that they need more food and water to survive. Hence, he sets off for the nearest town after handing a revolver to Cora. After riding for a few hours, he reaches town. There, Quigley befriends an old man who gets him the bullets for his rifle. He is also introduced to his daughter and his grandson, Klaus. They have heard stories about the man who fights for the indigenous people, and he has become their hero.
Everyone knows about you. The Aborigines who come to town to trade with us talk about the spirit warrior.
Klaus is fond of his shooting skills, and the old man sends him to saddle the horse. But unfortunately, Marston's men are also present in the same town. They recognize Quigley's horse and capture Klaus. Post-dinner, Quigley prepares to leave, but upon seeing that Klaus is missing along with his horse, he understands the danger. The henchmen shoot at him, and he retaliates. A violent shootout breaks out, and he is cornered inside a building, which is set on fire.
We got him! Watch the windows! Upstairs! Get around the back!
He gets surrounded from all sides, but using his quick thinking, escapes through the skylight. But the men spot him running away and chase him down. He takes cover, and the men shoot numerous times to ensure his death, but he is one step ahead of them. Using a tunnel, he crawls up behind them and shoots 2 men.
Excuse me.
The remaining one tries to fool him while pretending to surrender, but Quigley sees through the facade. But as a result of this shootout, Klaus's mother loses her life. Enraged, Quigley pounces on the goon and sends a message to Marston.
I ain't gonna kill you. Because you're gonna go tell Marston I'm coming after him.
Meanwhile, Cora is with the baby when a pack of dingo dogs enter the cave to hunt them down, just like the Comanche from the past. She tries to muffle the baby's crying, but at some point realizes her mistake. She allows him to cry and arms herself with the revolver left behind by Quigley.
You cry, you want to cry, you cry, you want to. Go on, darling, cry! Hell!
She shoots a few of them, but more of them appear from the darkness. Next morning, Quigley returns to the cave, only to find a few dead dingo dogs lying outside. Fortunately, Cora had survived, and so did the baby. He takes her into the town and gives her a beautiful blue dress. That night, a group of Aboriginals arrive to take the baby, and Cora, in a selfless moment, hands him over to them. This tells us that after saving the baby, she has finally moved on from her traumatic past. On the other hand, Quigley's message is delivered, and Marston prepares his men for the inevitable battle. Quigley also prepares himself and bids Cora farewell. He then rides near Marston's station and lies in wait for the proper opportunity. One of his men spots Quigley on a hilltop and goes after him. Soon, a gunshot is heard, and post a few minutes, a horse is seen returning to Marston. As expected, Quigley had killed the man, but this time, he has sent a letter.
Anyone can leave safely before dawn except Marston. Most cordially, Matthew Quigley.
This just means he's going to try and spring something on us during the night.
Marston suspects that he will attack at night and orders his men to remain awake. Next morning, Quigley begins his assault and takes down 2 men with just 1 bullet. Marston quickly sends his men to hunt him down, and Quigley falls back. But little did they know that this was all his plan. He leads them to a trap which he had set up beforehand, and the men fall prey to his skills. But more men arrive, and he finds himself cornered. Despite this disadvantage, he kills more men until one of them pretends to surrender. Another goon flanks him from behind and shoots him in the leg.
Well, it ain't real brave, but it is smart.
He is then dragged to the station, and the men beat him up to their heart's content. Pretending to make it a fair fight, he has his goons put a Colt pistol in Quigley's belt and challenges him to a quick draw. But to everyone's amazement, Quigley finishes off the three of them in the blink of an eye. Seeing his master dead, the indigenous servant approaches Quigley to return his Sharp's rifle. Finally, he throws away his shirt and reunites with his tribe. But soon, Major Ashley Pitt appears and surrounds Quigley with his men. They charge him with a lot of crimes and show him an order which allows them to execute him.
You are hereby charged with numerous and serious crimes, including murder.
In short, this paperwork says that we can hang you.
Quigley defends his ground, and the Major threatens to shoot him where he stands. But just then, a huge number of Aboriginals appear from out of nowhere. They surround the entire area and cover the perimeter of the station. It is clear that they have come to save their hero and return the favor. Seeing that his men stand no chance against such huge number of Aboriginals, the Major speaks no more words and leaves along with his soldiers. The Aboriginals disappear immediately, as if they vanished in thin air. Quigley patches up his wound and returns to Cora. The duo book their tickets, but at the port, we see that there is a reward of $200 for the man who kills Matthew Quigley. The man at the counter is ready with his revolver, but luckily he books the ticket in the name of Roy Cobb, as if trying to fill the vacant space in Cora's life.
Roy Cobb.
This saves him, and for the first time, Cora utters the name Matthew Quigley, prompting him to embrace her as his own. This is how the movie ends. Thank you for staying till the end. If you like this recap, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Please also check out the other videos on the channel.